Hi FTM Transtastic, I'm Julian and it's Sunday, so here's a new video. This video will be probably a little bit long because well, the topic is fandoms and things that make you geek out, and I've tried to record this under 5 minutes, but I just can't do it. Estoy grabando. Okay. So the thing I'm gonna talk about is a game. It's an RPG tabletop or tabletop RPG. RPG, if you've ever played games like Legend of Zelda or Fable or World of Warcraft, that's basically an RPG. But a tabletop RPG, like Dungeons and Dragons, the game that I play, is very similar. You have a character as a player. You have a character sheet that looks something like that. Oh, damn it. Something like that. It's a piece of paper with a lot of information about your character, from stats like how strong he or she is, how strong they are, how dexterous they are, etc., to things like how much weight they are carrying. It's crazy. And another one of your friends, my sister is down in the kitchen, sorry. And another one of your friends will be a dungeon master. A dungeon master is the person who is the storyteller of the game you are going to play, because the game is kind of like a story, and that's why I really like it. It's a story-based game. So the dungeon master is the storyteller, but it's also like a referee or a moderator in the table. So they are going to tell you a story, and you and your friends are going to be characters in the story. So if you're going to have to go to an adventure or to a cave or dungeon and slay some monsters, or you're going to go to a castle and have to be very and have to act with a lot of diplomacy around diplomats, everything can happen, really. Now, D&D is settled in a world that's kind of fantasy Middle Age. It's kind of the Lord of the Rings. So there's a lot of things going on. So it's pretty much Middle Age, but there's magic and there's dragons and monsters, and it's common knowledge for everybody that's a thing. That's why there are a lot of races, but it's not races like our races, but dwarves or elves, half orcs, and so on. So the game is basically like that. It's really fun. Yes, it is story based, so you can be kind of like an actor. You can play, really get into your character and act like them, or you can just be a regular, player and just throw some dice to hit, and that's it. And that's totally fine. Because if that's fun to you, then that's fun to you. What I mean when I say roll is because you play with dice. I'm finally recording this correctly, and my sister's doing so much noise downstairs. But I'm so sad. So sorry. You play with dice. These are dice. So this is a 20-sided die. This is the most iconic die there is for this game, because with a 20-sided die, you get to make a lot of decisions. If you have to hit to hit a monster, you throw your 20-sided die, and depending on what it lands on, from 1 to 20, it's how accurate that thing was. So it is 20, you hit it, and it's like a critical hit. But if it falls on 1, then it's something bad. Then something like you stab yourself happens, and it's completely up to the dungeon master to decide what happens on a critical roll, and like 1 or 20. I think both of those are categorized as critical. I don't really know the lingo that much. I don't really care like about the lingo or whatever. And there's other kind of dice that 10 or they are 10-sided die, or 6 or 8 or 4 or 6, 12 and 12. But it depends on what kind of weapons you have. That's the main. I think that's the main usage of the other dice, is for weapons and other stuff. So I played as a dungeon master, and I really like it. It's really fun. I like to tell the story. I like to draw maps. I was going to show them, but it will be too long. I like to draw the maps. I like to tell the story. It's also a very social game because you have to be with other people to play, and you have to interact with them, especially like no matter if you're the dungeon master or a player, you have to interact with other people. The players that are sitting with you are in a way or more often than sometimes I think they are party members of your own team. So it's a team game, a team sports, whatever. It's a thing. So you have to really agree on some things, and it can be discussions. The table that I was running as a dungeon master had a lot of discussions between two players, or really between like two players and the other two players, because they always wanted to do this stupid stuff. They always wanted to do the things that would get them dead, and then these other players, or this player in particular, who was more experienced, they were like, no, we have to do it this way if you want to survive. But they never did it. And as the dungeon master, you cannot be on either side. You have to go, okay guys, you have to decide on something. You have to decide what do you want to do, and both things are fine. You just have to agree on it, because I cannot rule like what to do. Sometimes I did, but just kind of like, well, you are being a very shitty player, a team player. You're being a very shitty team player, so I'm gonna have to like not like, what is it, ground you, but in a way, like not actually grounding you, but doing something not in your favor, and put it maybe shutting yourself down a little bit, just so that these other players that want to play and want to succeed can. So it's kind of a very dynamic game, as you can see. A lot of people think that it is hard, but it's not a hard game. The only thing you need is a bunch of dice, some printout of your character, and a pencil, and that's it. And of course a dungeon master, but you can find that in game stores or in the internet. And or just ask around your friends. That's how I got into the game. That's how I didn't find that dungeon master. I had to be the dungeon master. That's how it happened. So the rules are not that complicated. You can the books of the rule books are expensive, but you can find, at least for Dungeons and Dragons, you can find a very synthesis, I think that's the word, synthesis of the rules on the internet, and they are free to download, free to read, so that everybody can play. So I'm gonna cut it like that, guys, because it's already 8 fucking minutes, and I'm so sorry for the long video. If you like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, or I don't know, Vampire or whatever, any tabletop game or other game boards, because I also like game boards. Espérame! Please tell me in the comments now. I wanna know. Okay, I have to go, bye.